Good day, everyone. Chapter 2 is all about childhood years in Calamba of Dr. Rizal. Dr. Rizal is our national hero. He was one who led the Filipino to start a reform against the Spanish government to attain freedom and gain control of the country. On June 19, 1861, he was born in Calamba, Laguna. Then on December 30, 1896, Dr. Jose Rizal was shot by firing squad to death at Bagumbayan, or in the present day, the Rizal Park. He also wrote No Le Mi Tangere, El Filibusterismo, and many more. Looking backward to our national hero's childhood years, Jose Rizal had many beautiful memories of childhood in his native town. He grew up in a happy home, ruled by good parents, and sacrificed by God's blessings. The happiest period of Rizal's life was spent in the Lakeshore Town. Calamba was an hacienda town which belongs to the Dominican order, which also owned all the lands around it. It is covered with irrigated rice field and sugar land. Few kilometers south is the Mount Makiling. Next to it is the province of Batangas. To the east is where Laguna de Bay located, and to the north is the distant Antipolo where famous mountain shrine of the miraculous Lady of Peace and Good Voyage. Rizal loved Calamba with all his heart and soul. He even wrote a poem entitled In Memory of My Town, and it is about his hometown in Calamba, its sacred forest and lake. It is also expressed his love and appreciation for the place where he grew up. The earliest childhood memories of Dr. Rizal first is the happy days in the family garden. When he was 3 years old, he was given the tenderest care by his parents. His mother even built a little nipa cottage in the garden for him to play. Tungod kay busy usahay po diyang mga ginikanan, a kind old woman was employed as an aya or a nursemaid to look after his comfort. At the garden, Jose Rizal watched the maya, the kulyawan, Maria Capa, the martin, and the other birds, and he enjoyed listening to its beautiful song. The second is another childhood memory was a daily Angelus prayer. Rizal's mother gathered all the children at the house to pray the Angelus. They had nightly rosary. During that time, the nurse or the aya tells many stories about fairy tales and other fabulous stories. This is where the story of Tikbalang, Nuno, and other terrible creatures started. The aya tells the children once they don't eat their supper, the terrible creatures will come to take them away. This also why Rizal get interested in legends and other folklores. Another memories of his infancy was the nocturnal walk in the town. So the aya took him for a walk at night. Uridto na witness ni Rizal ug na-amaze siya sa kahayag sa bulan. The hero's first sorrow. The Rizal children were bound together by ties of love and companionship. Of his sisters, Rizal loved most the little Concha. He was a year older than Concha. He played with her, and from her, he learned the sweetness of sisterly love. Unfortunately, Concha died of sickness in 1865 when she was only 3 years old. That's why Rizal cried bitterly at losing her. Devoted son of the church. Rizal grew up a good Catholic. At the age of 3, he began to take part in the family prayers. His mother is devoted Catholic and taught him the Catholic prayers. He loved going to church to pray, to take novenas, and to join the religious procession. At the age of 5, he was able to read the Spanish family Bible. Pilgrimage to Antipolo. Pilgrimage means a journey, especially one made by a person going to a holy place. On June 6, 1865, Jose and his father left Calamba to go on a pilgrimage to Antipolo in order to fulfill his mother's vow which was made when Jose was born. It was the first trip of Jose across Laguna de Bay and his first pilgrimage to Antipolo. He and his father rode in a casco or a barge. He did not sleep the whole night as the Casco sailed towards the Pasig River because he was amazed by the magnificence of the watery expanse and the silence of the night. After praying at the shrine of the Virgin of Antipolo, Jose and his father went to Manila, and it was his first time Jose saw Manila. The Story of Moth. The Story of Moth is about a young and a mother moth who are both flying near a candle lamp. The young moth did not listen, causing his wings to caught on fire, and he was burned. Rizal's mother influenced him in his life. She, wa- she was his inspiration, and he valued everything she had taught him in life. Rizal believed that it is worthy for a man to sacrifice his life for a noble cause. Artistic talents. Rizal revealed his God-given talents for arts. At the age of 5, he began to make sketches with his pencil, mold in clay, and weigh objects which attracted his fancy. Jose had the soul of a genuine artist. He found great joy looking at his surroundings, the blooming flowers, the clouds, the lake, and the song of the birds. He loved to ride on a spirited pony which his father brought for him. He also had a dog named Usman. One interesting anecdote about Rizal was the incident about his clay and wax images. When he was about 6 years old, his sister laughed at him for spending too much time making those images rather than participating in their games. Rizal kept silence as they laughed, but as they were departing, he told them, "All right, laugh at me now. Someday when I die, people will make monument and images of me." Aside from his artistic talents, Rizal also possessed a God-given gift for literature. His mother was a lover of literature, that's why his mother encouraged him to write a poem. At the age of 8, Rizal wrote his first poem in the native language entitled Sa Aking Mga Kababata, or To My Fellow Children. He proudly proclaimed that a people who truly love their native language will surely strive for liberty. He wrote it to encourage the youth to be proud of being who they are, and the first step to do that is to use their mother tongue or native language in communicating or speaking. First drama by Rizal. After writing the poem To My Fellow Children, or Sa Aking Mga Kababata, Rizal, who was then 8 years old, wrote his first dramatic work, which was a Tagalog comedy. It is said that it was staged in a Calamba festival and was delightfully applauded by the audience. A gobernadorcillo from a town in Laguna happened to witness the comedy and liked it so much that he purchased the manuscript for 2 pesos. Rizal as boy magician. Rizal had been interested in magic. He learned various tricks like making coin appear and disappear in his fingers and making a handkerchief vanish in the air. He entertained his town folks with magic lantern and puppet shows. He read also many books on magic and attended the performance of the famous magician of the world. Lakeshore Reveries. During the twilight hours of summertime, Rizal, accompanied by his pet dog, used to meditate at the shore of Laguna de Bay on the sad condition of his oppressed people. Influences on the hero's boyhood. In the lives of all men, there are influences which cause some to be great and others not. In case of Rizal, he had all the favorable influences. First is the hereditary influence. According to biology science, there are inherent qualities which a person inherits from his ancestors and parents. So, from his Malayan ancestors, he inherited his love for freedom, desire to travel, and his courage. From his Chinese ancestors, he derived his serious um, nature, fragility, patience, and love for children. From Spanish ancestors, he got his elegance of bearing, sensitivity to insult, and gallantry to ladies. For his father, he inherited a profound sense of self respect, the love for work, and the habit of independent thinking. From his mother, he inherited a religious nature, the spirit of self sacrifice, and the passion for arts and literature. Second is the environmental influence. According to psychologists, environment as well as heredity affects the nature of a person. Rizal family stimulated the inborn artist and literary talents. The religious atmosphere at his home fortified his religious nature. From his brother, Pasiano, he taught the mind to be love for freedom and justice. From his sisters, he learned to be courteous and kind to all women. And also the fairy tales told by his ayah or the nursemaid awake his interest in folklore and legend. Others, such as the Spanish abuses, the cruelness, the imprisonment of his mother, the death of Concha, the unjust tortures on innocent people, and the execution of Gomburza, awakened his spirit of patriotism and inspired him to be consecrate his life and talents to gain the freedom that we want. The third one is the aid of divine providence. Greater than heredity and environment in the fate of man is the aid of divine providence. So aid of divine providence means these are good things for good that God given to us, especially our talents, our skills. A person may have everything in life, the brain, bright man ka, dato man ka, the wealth, the power, but without the aid of divine providence, he cannot attain greatness in the nation. So God had showered or give Rizal the versatile gift of a genius, the vibrant spirit of a nationalist, and the valiant heart to sacrifice for a noble cause. That would be all in my report. Hope you guys learned something and God bless us all. Thank you.